Today, we have a Jersey legend in the building, you guys. We're talking to season 4, Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, winner, Gia Giudice, okay? Explain to them, what is Special Forces even?
18 recruits, which are 18 either celebrities or public figures. It is the training that they did before going to serve. This whole course really trains us as celebrities who obviously do not even know a glimpse of this world.
Don't even know if I personally have talked about this on my own podcast yet, but yes, I was a part of Special Forces. I too passed selection.
It is torturous. You are in a room for 12 hours listening to nails on a chalkboard, babies crying, animals being slaughtered.
Did you start hallucinating at all?
I was shook.
We have to talk about your experience on your show, Next Gen.
They honestly kind of robbed me season 1. I was definitely upset by that.
Welcome to the pregame.
What's up, guys? Kayla Nicole here, and welcome back to another episode of the pregame. Now, today we have a Jersey legend in the building, you guys. You've watched her grow up on The Real Housewives of New Jersey as the eldest daughter of Teresa and Gia Giudice, and now she is stepping fully into her own bag, you guys. She is a reality star. She's an influencer, an entrepreneur, and rising New York it girl. She's a cast member on Bravo's new Next Gen NYC. She's hosting her own podcast, Casual Chaos, which I was just on, so you guys have to go check that out. And she's using her voice to talk about family, fame, and figuring it all out in your 20s. All while quietly building a very serious career off camera, if you ask me. From growing up on TV to navigating internet headlines to pushing herself on Special Forces World's Toughest Test with her mom, she is showing people that there is way more to her than just her last name. So, without further ado, please welcome Gia to the pregame. What's up, girl?
Hello, what an intro. That was amazing.
I'm glad you liked it. I spend so much time on it every week, but I'm so excited to have you here. We have to jump into the first quarter, girl. We're going to do a little catch up and yap because I want the people
Let's go.
to learn
You need
about
to,
you,
educate
honey.
me all about football. I love that this is like we're going into the first quarter, second quarter,
Yeah.
third quarter, fourth quarter. Let's get into it.
I love that you think
We
of
got
football
game
first. too.
time decisions to make.
Yes, I see you're picking up on it. Pre-game, game vibes. Okay, I love it. Okay, so the first quarter is our catch up and yap. I told you before, we're going to do a little icebreaker. For this icebreaker, I'm going to give you a series of questions, and you're going to tell me which version applies. So, for example, I'm going to say, like, who is more stubborn? You're going to say younger Gia, adult Gia, or you could say, like, Gia then or Gia now. Okay? Gia then or Gia now was more stubborn.
Gia then.
Ah, we've learned, we've grown a little bit, huh?
No, definitely. I would say within these past 2 years, I am like a completely different version of myself than I was. And I think it does come with age and it comes with time.
Mhm.
And it's just, when you get older, you become more mature. You realize like certain things don't matter as much and you let things go.
Yeah, a little lived experience will do that for you, honey. Okay, who's more emotional, Gia then or Gia now?
Gia then.
Really?
I went through I think no matter what, I am an emotional person. Like I do have a soft spot. So yes, you guys saw me crying on Special Forces. I'm a family person. Like I do get emotional, but I just would say that was Gia then. It was more of an emotional time in my life with like my family's legal issues, grandparents passing. Just I went through a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I would say that was just a more emotional period in my life.
Absolutely. And you crying on Special Forces, I get it, girl. Me too. I cried my way through that experience. So we can connect
every
on
day.
that. Yes, we'll talk more about that later. Okay, who is more protective of your family, Gia then or Gia now?
Gia always.
Period. Right. I love that. I love that about you too. And I love that about your family. It's like one thing that I don't play about is my family either. So I get that. I see that in you too.
Oh yeah. Family over everything.
Yes. FOE. Fo. Okay. Who is better at handling drama?
Gia now.
Really?
Gia then was a little more feisty. Didn't really give people maybe the opportunity to explain themselves. I was very cutthroat. I think I'm a little softer now.
Really? That's a beautiful
And
thing.
I
though.
let people take the floor. I hear them out before maybe jumping the gun and going at them. So
how did you go to therapy? Like, how did you get from point A to point B, or just lived experience?
No, I didn't go to therapy. I tried therapy in the past and even like life coaches because it was, during that time in my life a couple of years ago, I was like kind of going through it. But I I think it was just life experiences, like just realizing and just honestly seeing, like viewing myself in the public and on TV. Not that I ever did something like publicly that I was like ever embarrassed about, but
Mm-hmm.
just looking at myself on TV, which I think is a blessing of also being on reality TV. You really look at yourself and you go through like a lot of self reflecting. And as that was happening, when you're in the reality TV space, sometimes it really brings out things in you. And that's not who you are on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis. But the situation, it's heightened, or you have a couple drinks, or this is happening. And it's really not the person that you are. But reality TV sees a glimpse of that and sees a glimpse of you. So I would say just a lot of self-reflecting and like looking at myself and just realizing this is how I want to change that. And that is not who I am.
Wow, that's a very mature and beautiful perspective to have about reality TV. Seriously, to use it as a mirror of like, okay, I was this way on television.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I can
Fully my
change it.
mirror.
Yeah, that's so good though.
Fully
I love that
my
for you.
mirror because it's my career. So, I love it. I don't regret, my mother ever starting reality TV and it being a part of my life. But you got to learn from things, and that's why it's fully my mirror.
Just out of curiosity, how old were you when you first started reality TV?
I was 8.
Wow. Dang, girl. And you're 24 now.
24.
Impressive. I'm sure you have learned a lot. We're going to dive into that in the Q&A little portion. Let's finish up our game. Who is more Delulu? Gia then or Gia now?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't have the most common sense.
Wait, okay, regarding what? I know you just moved into your new apartment. You're kind of like stepping into your real like adult womanhood moment in your life. You feel like you're a little more Delulu now?
I'm definitely more on top of my game now. Like but I've always been like that. I think it's like I have dumb blonde moments.
Okay.
And that's
Tell me
I
about
think
that.
that's always been Gia.
Let's unpack that. What was your most recent dumb blonde moment, Gia? As your hair is beautiful and brunette.
Yeah, it had to do with my apartment. But
What happened?
I was like freaking out because all of a sudden my power went out. And I like didn't know what was going on. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I've been in here for 2 weeks. Like, did I already miss a payment? Like, there's no way. Like, how is
You're
this
like, happening? I gotta pay my electricity bills.
I was like, did I miss the electricity payment?
Yeah.
And I forgot, and the signs are like all over my building that something happened in Jersey City with the power lines that like generators were running my building. So through like the time of like 12 and 2, there was like a possibility of like a power outage. So I'm like calling the front desk, like calling everyone, calling the security of the building. And I'm like, I thought I was like going to die because I was like, oh my God, like, why is the power out?
Darkness.
Like somebody's going to come
daytime?
in and rob me right now.
Was it nighttime?
No, it was 12:45. It was 12:45 a.m. So I really thought like something bad was going to happen to me.
Completely
and then
understand.
I walked out into the lobby and I look at the sign and I was like, like I
warned
knew
me of this. Look, I get it, girl. I would love to tell you that it gets better as you get older, but I'm 34 and I still call my dad when I have the light on my car, when I got to do my taxes.
Yeah.
My mom, she helps me schedule my doctor's appointments. Like, it just, the ditzy blonde thing, and I've never been blonde a day in my life. I get it.
Recent Delulu.
Yeah.
I think just like throughout the day though, like I'm like, oh my God, Gia. Like little things.
Who is more likely to cry either on camera or on the internet? Gia then or Gia now?
I get emotional. So
Yeah.
I have been crying this season on Next Gen.
Yeah.
So
have you really?
But when it comes to my family, like obviously I got emotional when I moved out and like little things like that. So I would say when it comes to my family or when I feel like I'm making big steps, I get emotional. So I think that's always going to be Gia.
Well, and I think that there's this stigma, right, of like crying on the internet. There's this whole like running joke of like people that turn the camera on and then sit in front of it and cry. I do get that side of the internet. It does a little, I don't know what the word is, dystopian a little bit. But at the same
You know what? And
time,
I haven't been able to cry like on video.
yeah,
That I don't it needs to be fully in the moment. So
Yeah.
like, for me to like
which is
set up a
okay.
video,
Yeah, that's different.
you
It's
know,
different.
yeah, like it's
I
a
get it.
little more difficult for me, I think. But
Yeah.
but when I'm like filming a scene or doing something like that, and if something gets me choked up, like I'll just start crying.
Exactly.
A lot of
that's okay.
moments, even if I'm like talking to my mom or my dad, I'll start crying. So
Mhm.
there's things like that.
I think the strongest people are people that wear their emotions on their sleeve. Like to show up as your full authentic self and to not be afraid to show your emotions takes a lot of strength. So it's okay if you're crying on TV, on Instagram, girl. I'm here for it. Get those tears out. It's cathartic. I don't care what nobody says. Okay, last one. Who has more online haters, Gia then or Gia now?
I think Gia then,
Yeah.
because
Which is totally
I
unfair. And I
think-
think it's ridiculous that people would hate you as a child. But continue. ahead.
yeah, I think Gia then, because, and people still do, it's never going to change, but then they fully obviously associated me just with my family, and
Mhm.
that, my only form, that was why I was in the public eye, obviously, was my family. My mom was on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So now that I'm really stepping into my own on Next Gen, Special Forces, my podcast, like there's just so many other things going on
Yeah.
that are me individually. And that is why I was, I stayed on Special Forces, and I was so excited to like really show people who I am, because I get it. It's not intentional. It just happens that I am associated with my family, and that's not a bad thing. But sometimes it could be a bad thing because I get the backlash of
Mhm.
things that maybe my parents did and I didn't do. And unfortunately, like that's just sometimes what happens. But I would say now people are truly seeing who I am, and I'm getting a lot more positive feedback now than I did.
Absolutely. And that will bring us into our second quarter in the mix. We have to talk about it. As you just mentioned, Special Forces. Girl, this is news to everyone. I need a drum roll, please, in the studio. Because we are not just talking to Gia. We're talking to season 4. Special Forces, World's Toughest Test. Winner, Gia Giudice, okay? Respect. Round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, this is great news, my girl. I am so excited for you.
Thank
This is going to be our headline segment of the week for the In the Mix portion of the show. This is such a major deal. I'm so excited for you. For my listeners, I don't even know if I personally have talked about this on my own podcast yet, but yes, I was a part of Special Forces season 3.
Yes.
I too passed selection. So I'm in great company. I'm really excited to have you on the show today to talk about this and your experience. I think we have to first, for our listeners also, explain to them, what is Special Forces even? Like in your own words, tell me what this experience is.
So they bring 18 recruits, which are 18 either celebrities or public figures,
Yes.
into selection. Selection is basically what I would say recruits or potential,
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't in the Navy SEALs or,
Yeah.
DSs before
Yeah.
selection. It is the training that they did before going to serve.
Yes.
And so this is what they were put through, and what tasks and challenges and just uncertainty of waking up in the middle of the night, having to do a workout, going through real life experiences like grabbing hostages or going from building to building, like sinking in an aircraft. There were just so many real life experiences that these recruits were trained to do
Mm-hmm.
before going to serve.
Yeah.
So this whole course really trains us as celebrities who obviously do not even know a glimpse of this world. And it shows us what it's like to go through selection before going to serve.
Exactly.
And it is the most admirable, like rewarding experience. And you really just gain insane respect for our military and people of duty.
Absolutely. My season was filmed in Wales. Where was yours?
We were in Morocco, so we were hot. You were in cold. I don't know
Cold
if I
and
would have
wet.
lasted as long.
Girl.
I'm so serious. If I was cold, I don't know if I would have lasted as long. I hate being cold.
I'm telling you though, you would have done it because if you made it to the end of your experience, whether you're hot, cold, hungry, full, you would have done it because you're just mentally tough. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But when you showed up on base camp, what did you tell yourself that you needed to prove? Like, what was your mindset? Take me back to that moment when you finally got to that place. Because I know for a fact, a lot of people think that this experience is like a reality show. You know, there's like a cut, action. You guys can go to hair and makeup, freshen up, grab some water. It's the real deal, Holyfield, from the moment you step foot on base camp. So what was
Oh,
going through
yeah.
your mind?
So when we stepped in, we saw the barracks where we were sleeping,
Mhm.
what it was like. They have these cameras kind of in every corner, but they're so discreet that you don't even know when you're being filmed
Yeah.
around the base. So that is really how they get their 24-hour footage. The only time where we had cameramen was when we were on our missions off base.
Yeah.
But so we saw that. We saw the toilets. I saw the plywood on the seat where there was a hole and a bucket.
Yep.
And I just couldn't freaking believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe that's where we were actually going to the bathroom. And I was so happy that my luxury item was dude wipes
Mhm.
because I would have died. Like, my dude wipes saved me and made my area feel clean every day. Thank God. And
I'm jealous.
but
I didn't have dude wipes,
the
which is
you should have
disgusting.
brought wipes.
Girl, wait, I
Should've
think
brought
my
wipes.
luxury item was edge control because I thought that I was going to be worried about my edges. Little did I know. I was gonna be fighting for my life every day, Gia. I should have
Are
brought
you
the dude
kidding?
wipes.
Wait, you're like my fucking mom. My mom brought she brought
Yeah, what did
a
Teresa
hair
bring?
wax stick.
See?
She brought a hair wax
Because
stick
at least I'll
to
have
slick
slick.
her hair back.
At least I'll have a
And
slick
I'm
pony.
like, she didn't slick her hair back once. Like,
Nope.
that's not what you're thinking about.
At all. You're literally trying to, I don't know, like breathe, not die. You know what I mean?
Literally. Just like the conditions of like how there was just like dust and like dirt and sand on the floor. Like, and I am such a clean OCD person. I was shook to the core.
Girl, me too.
I was like, this is crazy. You know, once I got there, it was weird though, because I was like, okay, it's dirty. These are the conditions. This is what it is. It's almost like, you know, when we're home and in our space and like we just got our hair done, we're
Mhm.
like, all right, yeah. We're like, imagine, okay, a random summer day. You
Mhm.
got your hair done the day before. You're laying out by the pool. You don't want to go in the pool because your hair looks good.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
probably have dinner that night. So like you're preserving your blowout. You're like more cautious of things. I walked into there and I was like, all right, this is disgusting.
There's
No
nothing to
matter
preserve.
what, we are going to be dirty 24/7. There's nothing to preserve. So
Yes.
once I got in there, I was like, all right, screw it. Like, fuck it. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
And we're getting down and dirty and this is happening. So like once I actually saw it, that's why like, of course, some of the challenges where we're like rolling in the mud, I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay, let's
Yeah.
roll in the mud
Yeah.
or let's dunk ourselves in the cold plunge. Like certain times I was like, yeah, this is annoying, but like, who cares? This is what it is. Like there, no one to impress. Like
Yeah.
this is it.
Literally.
So that's kind of how I got my mentality set. I'm like, we're all dirty. This is all what's happening. Like, no time for, you know, being a prima donna or anything.
Exactly. Did you have any challenge or task that you felt like was the most physically taxing for you versus emotionally taxing? Like if I think back to my season, every day for me
Yeah.
sucked. Every day was hard. Every day I wanted to quit. And when people ask me to pick out one task or challenge, it's really hard for me to do that. I think I gave you the example of me jumping off of that bridge because apparently I have a fear of heights, which I never even knew. which the show does a really good job of exposing a lot of the fears that you didn't even know that you had. So was there one specific challenge that was like physically, this might be the one to break me?
Oh, for sure. It was day 6 for me for physically challenging. We literally climbed up this mountain. It felt like Mount Everest.
Mm-hmm.
Like the terrain on this mountain was just so insane. And my legs felt like they were going to fall off. And it was me, Bree, Bree, and Jesse Decker. All three of us were like, we're done. Like,
Yeah.
I am gonna tap out. Like, this is crazy. And then the men started motivating us a little bit, helping us like pick up our Bergens from the back and just like really helped us get up the hill. But then we get to the top and we had to do the rope course. So we had to like walk across a rope from mountain to mountain, climb
Mhm.
down the mountain. I had a little tiffy with Foxy on that rope course.
Oh, tell me more. What happened?
And
you guys got into it?
We got a little bit. So
You were talking back to the staff? Gia, you weren't scared of them? Girl!
Well, no, because you have to understand to listen to this.
Okay, I'm listening. Because there wasn't, you couldn't pay me to talk back to them people. I was terrified.
No, I was terrified.
Okay.
But so Billy screwed with me every time there was something with heights, anything. So we're like, there's a 300 feet drop. Like we are walking across a tightrope basically from mountain to mountain. I'm about to go and Billy's like shaking me over the ledge and he's like, don't disappoint me. Don't let me down. And I'm like, Billy, please stop. Like I'm having a heart attack. Like, why are you doing that? And so then whatever, I get on the rope. We have our helmets with the GoPros. Okay. We're walking across this rope. This rope now gets caught on my GoPro and is pulling my helmet down over my eyes.
You can't see.
So there's points while I'm on this rope and I'm like, I can't see. And then I started getting really nervous because I couldn't see. So then I start screaming. I go, the rope is on my helmet. The rope is on my helmet. And I'm screaming. And they're like, I don't give a damn. You're screaming on this rope. And they're freaking out. They're screaming at me. They're like, you're doing so much chatter that you would have been off the rope already. Whatever. Everything that they're saying. So then I finally get off the rope and I look at Foxy and he goes, like, he was screaming at me, like, why were you freaking out up there? Da, da, da. And I was like, because I was scared. The rope I couldn't see. And he was like, I don't give a damn. And I was like, I was scared. And he goes, and why are you answering me back? And I was like, I'm just telling you, I was terrified. And like, he didn't care.
Yeah.
And we got into a little tiff. So I started crying like immediately once Foxy started yelling at me. But then we get to the bottom of the hill and they didn't show this, but they go, all right, you recruits, you like to answer back. You like to disrespect the course. You like to disrespect the DS.
Not punishment, Gia.
Let's go.
Yeah. See?
Punishment.
They punished the whole crew?
Oh, punished everyone. So now we had to do suicides with our Bergens, up and down, squats, holding the Bergens, plank holds, up and down probably like 10 to 15 times. Me and Bree are crying. I'm crying because I'm in pain. I'm also crying because I feel like such an asshole for making my teammates go through this. Like, I'm just like all of the emotions.
Yeah.
I almost quit going up the mountain and I almost quit doing those suicides too. But then I was like, I would be such a coward to quit after I'm the reason that my teammates are doing this right now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, there's a quote from you, and I wonder if there's a parallel between the experience that you had in that moment and some experiences that you probably have had in real life, because there was a quote from the show where you basically were like, a trigger for me is people leaving. And because of your life experiences at a very young age, you've grown up on TV, and then you've had, you told family loss, whether it was a family member that has passed away, maybe your dad having to go away, your mom having to go away. Someone leaving, I understand that is a real fear. So then when you flip it and you're now put in this simulation of an experience and you are the person that could necessarily quit or you could leave, what do you think that you learned about yourself in that moment?
I don't leave.
Mm,
But also on that course, it did test me because my mom left. And that's why I got so emotional because she was like my person on that
yeah.
course. Like she was my safety net. So when she left, it was a trigger for me for sure.
And
I felt like,
for context, you just to let the people know if they haven't
yeah,
seen the show. So your mom left during the milling challenge, which every season they
yes,
put people together. You have to spar with other contestants on the show. And she chose in that moment to leave because she didn't want to be that example for you. She didn't want to be fighting in front of you. But go ahead and continue. Take me back to that moment and when she did decide to leave,
yeah.
how that affected you.
So, I mean, and they too, basically all the recruits are still there.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and I happened to be in the same car on the way to the milling event with nobody else. And
They were
my
setting
mom and
y'all
I were
up.
talking every night. It was weird. But my
Mm-hmm.
mom and I, like, we were talking every night about what if she left? Like, would she wait for me? Because she knew I would probably make it further than her. Would
Yeah.
she wait for me in Morocco or would she go back home? And so we talked about it again in the car. And we knew we were going into that milling challenge because we had to mold our mouth guard. So we knew that that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But she never told me she was leaving. And I don't think she really knew, until that moment. But she, I was like, Ma, no. I was like, if you want to go home and you leave, go home. What are you going to do here in Morocco? Like,
Yeah.
just go home. And so she basically, they asked me to fight. And she was like, nope, I can't watch my daughter fight and I can't be here. And I don't want my daughter to see me fight because I don't want to show my daughter violence. And it was, I think it was really a turning moment for her too, because being on Real Housewives, there's always tension and arguments and fighting. And she wanted to show me, like, because we talked a lot throughout that course and I wanted her to do this course to kind of let her anger go. And it was
Mm-hmm.
mainly towards my father about like the legal issues and things like that. I really wanted her to just kind of let the anger go and move on. But within that course, like that also brought other things up for her and that she wanted to let other things go. And she was just like, how can I show you and let things go and let anger go, but then go and fight?
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't make sense. So I understood why she left, but I was also so shocked. And it obviously like pulled at my heartstrings and I was very emotional during it. But I was contemplating it that day, like crap, like, can I really continue?
Yeah.
But then it was like, no, I need to do this for myself. Now this is my time to shine.
Yeah.
And I did do that.
But when you were in the interrogation room, did you ever have, or not even just interrogation room, but any moment on the show where you felt like, okay, I am realizing in this moment why I'm here. Like, this is why I'm here. This is why I need to be here. Did you have a breakthrough moment like that? Like, I definitely had one when if you watch the season, go and watch the season, they flip the computer screen around and it's like a headline article that really just like pulled at my heartstrings and helped me to remember why I started this process to begin with. Did you ever have a moment like that?
Yeah, so they pulled me into interrogation the night my mom left. They
Oh.
actually pulled me in twice. And when my mom left, I was, that was just the worst day for me. I was crying in the interrogation room. It was
Yeah.
terrible. But they said to me, your mom being here, you might not realize it right now, but you
Holding
will
you back.
realize it. It was holding you back. And this is now your moment. This is now your time to shine. They were
Mhm.
like, you've taken on a lot in your life and you have been more than a mother could ever want, like,
Yeah.
and they were like, now this is your time. When they said that to me, I was, because I didn't want people to think that she was holding me back because she really wasn't. But, you don't realize when somebody you love is there on that course doing these things with you, knowing how dangerous it is. Of course, it's going to mentally stress you out a little bit more and it is going to exert some energy.
Yeah.
Now I know that.
Yeah.
But after that and the DS said that, I was like, yeah, you're right. This is my time.
They honestly do such an incredible job of using this experience as a mirror for our real lives. You wouldn't think that going into it, but the parallels that they draw were really eye-opening for me. Curious, do you feel like parts of you were healed because of this experience? Because like as you mentioned, you have in a lot of ways, I don't, like you said, you don't want to say that you've been held back by your mom, but your experience and your journey with your mother, I think, has been a unique one. I think with both of your parents going away and you being so young, you having to step up as the eldest daughter, which I can relate to. I too am the oldest daughter of 4 sisters. You having to step
I
up
love that.
and be a parent figure for them. And you've mentioned before planning holidays and really being this mother figure. Do you think that your mom leaving in this experience was giving you space in a lot of ways to heal younger versions of you?
100%. And that's why I say I'm a different person now than I was then. Um, I really just feel so at peace. I think Special Forces also gave me the outlet to know that I'm okay. Like I can do this on my
your
own,
own.
and
Yeah, that's so good.
I don't need I don't need to feel like I always need to be there for my family. Like they will be okay, which is why, I kind of came home from Special Forces. It was the end of June and I started looking at apartments in September, moved out a couple weeks ago. And um, Special Forces really healed for me that I am ready to do this chapter of my life and really be on my own, and also just not worry about the small stuff, not sweat the small stuff, and just really focus on the bigger picture.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love that for you. And I love that you walked away with from this experience with some life-changing nuggets. I think that I did the same too. I'm so thankful and appreciative for it. Do you think that you would ever do it again if they did like an all-star Special Forces winter edition?
I would.
Gia, you're crazy, girl.
I
You're crazy.
I
What if they say
I
it's in
would.
Antarctica? You say you don't want to be
You
cold.
did it in Wales.
See? Okay. All right. You know what, Gia? Don't hype me up because if you say that you do it, I do it. Okay? Because I like a little
we're gonna do
competition.
it. Like,
No,
it's
like
fine.
honestly,
Listen,
I don't want to chicken out.
You know what I don't want to do again? I don't want to do interrogation again. That was the
Okay.
one thing that like really was just so draining, like mentally.
What was your interrogation process like? Because it's literally the last day of selection. It's the last day of the entire process. And essentially,
Yeah.
they torture you for like what felt like
Oh,
24
yeah.
hours, which it's really only 12, I believe, but it feels like a day.
Yeah, it's about 12. I mean, so we got divided into 2 teams. We got dropped off by a random village and we had to find a safe house. So we're running through the desert, through the Sahara, and like we are just in the middle of nowhere. We have no light. Well, once it got dark, it was really scary because then we had no light, just like the camera, like flashlights, and it was like really scary. We had to
Mhm.
gather clues and then we were captured. There were dogs and random people being so rough with you and putting the bag over your head. And it was like you were being captured by, when you see it in the movies, like people are capturing you from other countries because you don't
Yeah.
belong there.
Yeah. Taken.
And
A
yes,
real life
taken.
episode of Taken.
Literally taken.
Yeah.
And then we get brought back to base and you could kind of, tell that you were at base. And then you go into interrogation, you get stripped, put on these like hazmat suits. And they don't show this, but we were like to the full effect. I think Special Forces should be 2 hours long each episode.
Absolutely.
You are in a room for 12 hours listening to nails on a chalkboard, babies crying,
People
animals
dying.
being slaughtered.
Yep.
You name it, like
Mhm.
horrible. And you have a black bag over your head with blackout goggles and headphones on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is torturous. I would drink water, go to the bathroom a lot to try to just like get up and pass some time. But when you were pulled into interrogation with those people, it was maybe 10 minutes at a time. The majority of those 12 hours you were sitting in that room. So it was mentally exhausting. It came to a point where it was so draining that like I was like falling asleep to the noises because
Yeah.
you just get so used to it and you're so delirious.
Did you start hallucinating at all?
Not really.
Girl, I started seeing things. So before I went into this interrogation process, the entire cast, we were kind of like exchanging notes on how to handle this. And one of my castmates, her husband had served before, and he was saying a technique that they teach you when you are to be captured in real life out at war is you're supposed to have like a song that you sing to yourself to kind of like keep you calm and to kind of like recalibrate and focus and calm your nervous system. And so my song was feel the rain on your skin, no one else can feel it, right? So I've been singing that literally the entire experience. Fast forward to interrogation, I'm sitting on that floor, there's babies crying, nails on a chalkboard, people screaming in my ears. I'm trying to self-soothe and rock, and I go to sing my self-soothe song, and I can't think of the song. It won't come to me. I can't think of any song. Like my mind is going blank. I'm like, well, what songs do I know? Bro, why could I only sing the ABCs? I started singing A, B, C, D, E, anything to keep myself present because I started seeing things. I started feeling like bugs were crawling on me. Like I literally started losing my mind in interrogation. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Interrogation was the worst part of the whole experience. If I had to do interrogation again, I don't know. I don't even know how I made it through this version of it. I think that the only thing that was like my saving grace was seeing the sun come up. Like you said, when you could use the bathroom, which was like, I think 1 or 2 times, we went out to use the restroom. I still had the eye coverings on and I literally could see the daylight peeking through the corner of my eye. And I said, okay, at this point, I could quit, but how ridiculous would it be if I've made it this far? So I'm going to stick to it. But I completely agree with you. Interrogation, the worst part, do not recommend. And the fact that you would do it again, Gia, I'm very impressed by you. I'm very impressed. I love that.
I would do it to lose the 10 pounds again.
Girl, I know. And we talked about that on your podcast. I lost probably like 5 pounds because the food was so, what's the word? Bland, disgusting. Just not edible. It was boiled chicken and eggs for breakfast and oatmeal and just all types of slop. What was your favorite meal, would you say?
Lunch.
Oh, yeah, because you told me it was like the braised beef. Well,
Yeah,
Gia apparently had oxtail on her show, you guys. I don't know how they got that through security, but we had boiled chicken and brown rice every single day. We didn't get any oxtail, Gia. You guys had it. You guys had the hookup. I'm jealous. Okay, so we're going to go into, we have about 15 more minutes. So we're going to go into the third quarter, which is a little Q&A. I want to talk to you more about your family dynamic. I think one thing that we can connect on, and I mentioned this already, is that we're both sisters and you are the oldest of your siblings. I love that for you too, but I do think that there is it's a very special and unique life being the firstborn and the responsibility that you carry when you have that title. I want to know, what do having little sisters, or what has having little sisters taught you about yourself? And ultimately, what do you hope that they see in you as an example?
I hope they just see how hard I love them and, how hard I work, and just that I am always there for them and will do everything for them. I think I have always tried to teach them like to be the best version of yourself and to always show yourself how you want, like show yourself in a way that you would be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they know that of me, and I want them to know to shoot higher than the stars, shoot for the moon, and that I'm always there for them.
Yeah. Your family has survived a lot. We talked about this very briefly, but what do you think is the glue that has kept you guys together when most families or people would have cracked?
I just think our family, me, my sisters, and my mom and my dad, like we are all so close. My dad's side of the family, like they were amazing as well, during everything. And we just, breaking wasn't an option. Sticking together and pushing through it was our only option.
Yeah. That's so good though. And I think too, another similarity that we have, my parents are also divorced, and growing up, my parents divorced when I was really young though too. So it's very different for you, I would assume. But what has growing up now in a blended family or in a separated, parent household. What have you learned about relationships growing up in that dynamic and surrounded by that kind of like situation?
I just think sometimes people make mistakes and people come into your life for a reason. Sometimes, the chapter closes and you have to move on.
Yeah.
And love is amazing. So I think everybody should have love in their life. And that's why, I think my parents, unfortunately, things happened.
Yeah.
I think they'll always have a love for each other. I mean, they grew up together and have just known each other forever. But unfortunately, it was something that wasn't sustainable. And it was a marriage that I would never want for my mom or my dad.
Mm.
So within that, it's just to know that people deserve love and happiness. And I'm happy that they're both in that stage of their life and they both have found that.
Yeah, I think it sucks for our parents. Sometimes I have to remind myself often that like this is our parents' first time doing this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like this is their first
Oh,
time
yeah.
living this life, having kids. You're the firstborn of all of the kids too. So like literally this is their first time doing it. We have to give our parents more grace. And I think too, especially in today's society, we put a lot of onus and like there's just so much negativity around the idea of divorce. And I think we put this unrealistic pressure on our parents or just people in general to stay together, to fight through it, to make it work for the kids. But sometimes it's better for the kids and for our parents if they just split up. Like I'm very thankful that my parents learned that early
Yeah.
on. And I think more parents need to hear that. Like your kids are gonna be okay.
Oh,
Divorce is not the
definitely. And
end all be all.
your kids also sense when things are, unhealthy or
Mm-hmm.
not how it should be. And if your marriage is not healthy and you stay together, you're just hurting your kids more.
Absolutely. When you look back at everything that your family has been through, though, is there anything that you feel like maybe you're still healing from or you want some closure from? Or where are you mentally right now?
I feel like mentally I'm pretty good. I think, obviously there's triggers that could come up at any moment,
Yeah.
but for the most part I'm good. My mom is happy, my dad is happy. We're really at peace. It is what it is. Things could be worse. My father could be sick, knock on wood,
Yeah.
but my mom could be sick, worse things could have happened. At least I still, can speak to my dad every day and I can go visit him, and Bahamas is not the worst place. So,
Period. Okay, is that where your dad is living now, Bahamas?
yeah.
Why did I see something that he was living in Italy?
Well, that's where he was deported to.
Okay,
He
but
was
he's
born in Italy.
yes, but he's
But
living
now he lives in the Bahamas
I
so
know
that it's
that's
closer
right.
to us to fly to.
I love it. And the Bahamas is not a bad place to have to go, girl. We have to talk about your experience on your show, Next Gen. You guys have been renewed for season 2, which is really cool. Tell me about that experience.
Yes, we're
So
filming right
obviously,
now.
yeah, I'm sure it's been way different than Special Forces, also very different from Real Housewives. So what's going on with Next Gen? How are we feeling about it? Do we like it? Do we love it? What's the vibes?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now I love it.
Now you
And
do.
that is awesome. Season 1, it was a little difficult going from the transition of, being with my mom on Real Housewives to then Next Gen.
Yeah.
I think I was always used to being in this like motherly role and always like looking out for my family and sticking up for what was right. And I think I did that a little too much season 1, but I don't want to say, I really just showed that I was a really good friend, but maybe at sometimes I got a little too involved. There were just better ways of handling things. But I also think Next Gen did not show season 1. They did not show a full picture of me either. They
So how
only
do
showed
you
when I was, yeah, they only showed when I was a little irritated or in a confrontation with somebody or had something to say.
Yeah.
They didn't really show what I am doing, who I am. They showed like zero point 0.2 seconds of a Vince Camuto campaign I did. They honestly kind of robbed me season 1, and I was definitely upset by that.
I'm upset for you,
So,
Gia. So going into
yeah,
season
it was
2
definitely
then,
a little frustrating. So going into season 2, I made sure, that everything I did with my work life and within the cast that people were included, or how can I tie in my cast members to really like make the audience see what I do on a day-to-day basis and like what my work life looks like and what I do because I don't stop. Like I got off the red eye from BravoCon on Monday and I have not stopped like since I got off the plane. I wanted them to show that hustle and that work and that grit. So now I think they really understand that and are showing that for me now with season 2. I think the relationships and the dynamic between the group is a lot stronger because season 1 we were getting to know each other and it was very new and very fresh. And I give it a pass because it was season 1. It's a new show. We were all figuring it out.
Yeah.
But let's just hope season 2 is better because I feel a lot better about it.
You're at the age too where I feel like reinvention is overlooked and more people need to lean into that. I think that sometimes we feel like everything that we do is set in stone. Like, this is my career path. This is all that I'm ever going to be known for. But sometimes you can switch the narrative up. Sometimes you can reinvent yourself. Sometimes you can choose to pivot. What is on the horizon for Gia? Like, what can you say career-wise that you're hoping to achieve within like the next year or so?
You know, I did a lot this year, which was
tell me about that.
like I felt
you did quite a bit.
You know, like yeah, like I did a lot this year. Like honestly, after Next Gen wrapped and then just everything, like a lot just happened. I introduced my podcast, Casual Chaos. I'm also a part of another podcast called Dirty Rush. I was on Special Forces, Next Gen NYC. So a lot has happened within this past year. But going forward now, I really want to focus on creating my, expanding my brand. So I really want to create a line or really create something that I am passionate about soon.
Yeah. Well, I think too, the best advice is that you and your personality, your life experiences, your story is what makes you unique. And even though it is oversaturated, there is no other Gia. You know what I mean? You're one of one. And so I'm sure whatever you put your name and stamp on will flourish because it's something that comes from you. So that's just my little word of advice. Do it, girl. Okay.
Thank you.
Our last little quarter.
Waking up in the morning is like so into my brand as well because it was that sad song I sang when I was 8 years old.
Oh, yes.
I wanna also do something that is like really like a full circle for my brand.
Okay, like where your head is at. Well, we'll keep an eye out, girl.
Yeah.
Well, for the fourth quarter, we're going to jump into the fourth quarter now. It's the game plan segment of the show. I like to use this opportunity to give the girls some advice for their day, for their week, for their month. And so for any girl that is listening right now, maybe a young woman who feels like she is growing up with labels that have been placed on her specifically, whether it's she's the oldest daughter or she's the strong one of the family or she's the fixer, or the label of, I'm a child of divorce, whatever the label may be. What is your advice for finding your own identity outside of what life has assigned to you?
I think it will come, and I think you're going to figure it out within time because that's what I did. But also having that pressure of that label, give yourself some grace because sometimes that could become overwhelming and, kind of just take over. So just give yourself some grace.
Grace is huge. I've learned certainly over the years, we're 10 years apart. We discovered that when we were on your podcast. We're 10 years apart. And I think, absolutely. That is a word that is on my mirror now. It's something that I include in my affirmations all of the time because yes, that is the one thing in this life that is free, that requires nothing from no one else that you can give to yourself. So I completely agree with you. Grace is so important.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that I try to do in my own walk as well. To navigate this world with as much grace as possible. We give grace to other people all of the time. And then sometimes we neglect and forget to give it to ourselves. So I love that piece of advice. And I love that you joined me today on the pregame, girl. I really appreciate you stopping by. This has been so fun. Congratulations again.
Thank you. This has been
big
amazing.
Win. We have to do I
appreciate it.
Brunch or a celebratory brunch. And then also
I would love to. Just text me whenever you're in New York.
Yes, I'm there often. And two, I will make this pact with you now that if they ever do, I can't believe I'm saying this. If they ever do a Special Forces All-Star Edition, if you do it, Gia, I'll do it with you. Okay?
Okay, let's do it, girlfriend.
Terrible. Terrible girl. Thank you so much again, girl. Have a good one. It's nice to talk to you.
Thank you. You too. Bye, babe.